Welcome to the Meat and Potatoes Podcast. We're here with Wessly Anderson, who is the co-founder and president of Agency VA. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
I am very good, thank you. We were sitting down a little bit before, and we're having a good chat where you were telling me a little bit about your life. That's not the point of this podcast, but you're kind of here as a tourist, right? Because you kind of split your time between Puerto Rico and Utah, and my mind was just blown. So maybe we do incorporate that into the podcast a little bit about how you managed to do that. Because it was pretty interesting. But before we get there, let's start with what is Agency VA? Where did the idea come from? Kind of the founding story.
Agency VA, more luck than skill. We actually built a remote worker software directly before COVID. So in those days, I remember meeting with a lot of executives and arguing with them that you don't got to smell your coworker to realize they're there and what they're doing. They can work anywhere. But as we all know, before COVID, that wasn't an acceptable thing. So with Agency VA and with our software, we built that out directly before COVID and let the record show extremely not strategic. Mm-hmm. You know, we didn't have any insight on any bats in Wuhan or anything like that. We just we built that software more as we were working with some insurance companies and we wanted remote workers. And because of that, they wanted a software to protect the data. Okay. And so we built it out, and then COVID struck, and you know, the world felt the effects of COVID, and so did we. You know, it definitely boomed our company.
Yeah. Thank you for being honest and candid, and it sounds like a little bit of better to be lucky than good. Right?
Yeah.
Because you could have said we saw it coming.
No. Actually, I put that in the bat. I started the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sent the bat all the way.
Yeah.
So like, that's your night job is like high level espionage and conspiracy.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, we'll have you on again to talk about that.
Okay, cool.
Probably the last time you'll ever do anything.
Where's Wes?
And to be clear, VA stands for virtual assistant, right?
Yes.
I've heard of these over time, right? And like I could, whether it was like IT or tech support, like in 2012, for me, the connotation, and prove that I'm right or wrong, was like, I'm talking to somebody from the Philippines or India about why my computer won't work. Not the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Or is it?
Kind of, but the way that we operate, I kind of like to think of, we do the stuff inside companies that nobody wants to do. And the example that I use is actually something that I used to enjoy and loved doing with all my heart. I used to mow my lawn at my house. It was one of my favorite things to do at the end of every week. I could gather my thoughts. I could actually see something accomplished and completed in front of me. What happened, though, was there became a time in life that the 2 hours spent mowing the lawn, I didn't have as, you know, people don't view that, but as a luxury, I needed to work. And I let someone else mow my lawn. Well, they did it better than me. And you better believe that ever since that moment, I'm not going to go back and mow lawns. So inside of a business organization, the mowing lawns, the, you know, scrubbing toilets, the symbolic that's what we want to do with a smile. And so we do the stuff that people don't want to do. And very happily, and you know, someone from Philippines is extremely grateful to do something like that, as opposed to begrudgingly getting that task completed.
Yeah. And, you know, whether you're Daddy Warbucks billionaire or, you know, middle class in America, you do outsource stuff, right? I think people don't realize how much they do outsource. And I'm in the same boat with like the mowing of the lawn. I probably liked it about half as much as you did, but I was forced to mow a lot of lawns over my life. So it wasn't very hard to like transition out, not overly expensive. And then like in my case, it was some teenagers from the neighborhood. That money was a lot more impactful to them than it was to me. And they did do a better job.
Yeah.
And that feeling of like, oh, it's done was just as good of whether I did it or they did it.
Yeah.
But it saved all sorts of time.
Well, and you hit on a really important point of working in the virtual assistant space. You said when the teenager did that, it was better for them.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the co-founder, Ben Barrientos, and myself, we met when we were 19, and the whole vision and everything our why is to disrupt systemic poverty. So in these parts of the world that we reside in 5 spots across the globe. That's the goal. And prior to our VA company, I didn't get super motivation to wake up and do my job. Things were hard and monotonous. Well, now when I hear stories of VAs in the Philippines making more than the mayor of their province, I'll run through walls for these people.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of energy, because it's better for their life and what's happening there, we are truthfully disrupting systemic poverty in these parts of the world. So it's fascinating, but also you feel good doing it.
Yeah. Very cool. Let's get a little bit more into the weeds on this one. So is there a specific industry that is applicable to your guys' business model with the virtual VAs?
Absolutely. So we own, between me and my co-founder, Ben, we own insurance agencies. So we have niched out and we do pretty much soup to nuts the insurance industry. We do insure techs, which is more of the sexy stuff in the most unsexy sector of the world, insurance. We do carriers, your Allstates, your Liberties. We work with them, Liberty Mutual, carriers that everybody knows. But we really love working with Main Street insurance agencies from across the country. They're the ones in need. They're the ones that, just to be blunt, no one's graduating college to jump inside and work in their agencies. Right. So we provide help for them. But that's not to say that we've dabbled in legal. We had a little thing going in cannabis for a second. We can do other industries, but we're laser focused and we're best fit inside of insurance.
Very cool. And this could be any type of insurance, insuring your business, insuring your life, insuring your car.
Yeah, I would say the highest percentage is those insurance agents that insure businesses and insure homes, insure cars. Those are the ones that we really have a strong foothold in. But we've also worked with health insurance agents and life insurance agents as well.
Very cool. And for those that have insurance, which is probably most people, depending on when you got the insurance, whether it was 1965 or even 2015, there's a good chance it was like a bit of a dumpster fire, like lots of weird forms, and probably took longer than you thought it should for, you're writing a $38 check a month and you just gave away all sorts of pertinent information. And I've got people that still send like paper statements. I've got some that are like, we are the greatest tech company in the world, just happened to do insurance. I'm like, well, it still takes a lot of time. But I guarantee on their end, it's even worse, right?
Yeah.
There's obviously red tape and there's just bureaucratic stuff and they're regulated.
Sure.
Right? If your tractor gets burnt up by a meteor that hit it and the insurance doesn't work, then you're not only impacting the farmer, but supply chain down the line. And I use that example, right? Because like the insurance guy in a small farming community is very important.
Sure.
Very important. And if they can't do their job well, then it's a bad butterfly effect. So for the insurance agencies, them to get the ROI is like, this sucks. We're like swimming in paperwork, or this system doesn't work. I wish I had somebody else to do this, this, and this so I could go to my kid's baseball game. That's where your folks would come in?
Absolutely. We're gonna symbolically mow their lawn, and after we've proven ourselves and done it better than maybe they did it, and again, one of the key elements is that level of gratitude that our VAs have. We do that with gratitude, then they start letting us do more. So right now, leveraging our technology, we're equipped to do about, they've quantified it, 87% of the work inside of an insurance agency we can complete. We actually get insurance licensed VAs, so they have the capability to work alongside and directly with the owners of the agencies. And we have people in Philippines and India that they're going to do more of the paper pushing back office type stuff. But the goal is the differentiator in any insurance relationship is the relationship that agent has with the client. That's the bond. That's the galvanizing thing in their business. And so we want these agents to focus on revenue generating type tasks. We want them to focus on community development. We want them to focus on bettering those relationships, and we'll watch their six. We'll do all the stuff, that they didn't want to do, and we'll do it for less money, and they can build a more profitable business.
Yeah. And in my simplistic mind, it's, insurance salesman, insurance agency owner. Um, Either is at the office doing all the monotonous tasks, or they're at like a community event or like a business networking event where they could be getting new clients and new business. And that would be like a pretty simple ROI to calculate for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Olden days, before I had agency VA, I had to sit at the office for these 2 hours and I couldn't go to this mixer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and we got 4 new clients.
Yep.
Rinse and repeat.
Yep.
Because to your point, your words, somebody's got my 6 covered.
Yep.
Very
That's
cool.
what we take care of.
I love it. And if memory serves, that takes 24 hours for the earth to rotate. When it's nighttime somewhere on the other end, it's daytime somewhere else, right?
Correct.
Your company would be working for you 24/7 theoretically.
That we can do that. So the VA can work at the same hours as the agency, or there's always cases where there's projects that need to be done while they're sleeping. So absolutely, we do both. We can run 24/7. It's easy for us to do that.
How glorious would that be? You come into the office and you're focused on a bunch of stuff that ordinarily would take till 3 p.m. You just start
Yes.
because it's already done.
Yes. That's the goal.
Oh, boy. Do you have VAs for nonprofits?
Well, I have a VA. Those that in the insurance space that know me well know that my VA Ray does everything for me personally. Kind of the thing that I tell it this doesn't just pertain to insurance, but any kind of leadership capacity. If you're doing a task that is a a $12, $13, $14 an hour type task, the moment that you're doing that task, you're doing an extreme disservice to yourself and also your company. And what people don't realize is, people live in and out of their inbox, for example. I'll use that example. I don't do email anymore. Ray's inside of my email. Now, has the rest of the world shifted? No, they still live inside their inbox, but I wasn't making money there. It was painful for me. And Ray now sits in there and answers those emails for on behalf of me. And it even says in his email signature, you're receiving wonderful service from talented VA Ray. When I get to meetings with individuals, they're like, Wes, dude, it used to take you like 6 days to get back to me. Now you're like an hour. And I'm like, pull up your email. Like, look, Ray's doing it. Like, this is Ray. He gets it completed. He knows everything that's going on. And me and Ray meet for like 15, 20 minutes every week to go over the actionable items that I needed to do inside of my inbox. But I took the app off my phone. All these things liberated me to do revenue, profit generating tasks inside of Agency VA. I'm much more effective when I'm not mowing the lawn.
Yeah. That sounds amazing, right? And I would, even if I had to talk to my Ray 20 minutes a day, that would still be infinitely better. And, because there is money in the inbox with Silicon Slopes, right? But I'm sure you could have like a good cadence with my Ray. It doesn't exist yet, but I wish it did. Of like, I'll take these ones, you take these, know. And if there's ever any questions, ping me real quick or we'll just talk once a day.
Well, if it's linear, if it's repetitive,
yeah,
you shouldn't be doing it. Mowing the lawn, we're like banging that one like a dead horse, like we're hitting that hard. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing, things that require and leverage that little percentage of our brain that has that creativity. That's where your headspace should be. Interestingly enough, when you get out of the shackles of the inbox, you're incredibly more creative. You're more actionable.
Yeah.
You realize that, these 3-4 hours that I maybe spent, because I meet people that spend that much time in their inbox, that's drudgery, man. You're captivated inside there. You got to get out as quick as you can. Unless you love it, unless it's making money, then stay.
Yeah. I mean, weirdly enough, like, let's say for someone that enjoys mowing the lawn because that's where they have like creative ideas, it might be their only exercise. They could go mow 3 neighbors' lawns if that's where they're like coming up with their ideas and they're getting their mental health then. There's tons of flexibility either way, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Very cool. So, you mentioned, various parts throughout the world. Obviously, there's operational security with pretty much everything that exists now. But, when you do an insurance policy, there is pertinent and sensitive information. How do you guys go about like securitizing that and making sure it is as safe as if it's, little Jimmy Lipper in downtown Linden at the local insurance agency.
And that was the main concern of the carriers. So the insurance companies were essentially saying, if you're going to build this VA company, and we started in Philippines, it's since expanded in various parts of the globe, they had compliance departments, they had regulations within the 50 states. Interestingly enough, insurance has regulatory bodies there. We had to adhere to all of them. And so every keystroke, every mouse movement, every screen refresh rate, that was the first thing that we had to figure out with our software. Our software is now called Ava. It's been with us for years. It's ran our company. It's the catalyst by which we've experienced pretty aggressive growth. And Ava started out with that cybersecurity element, watching everything that the VA did. Since then, it has morphed more into productivity, morphed more into gamification, morphed more. We can go into any org that we work with and we can tell them things about their own agency that they never saw, because Ava is going to ingest a lot of the data. Ava is going to serve that back up to them with incredible dashboards on what's going on. But at the core of it is that cybersecurity element that we had to adhere to.
Very cool. So you've got Ava and these dashboards and people are able to see like how things are working and stuff. But if you're not interested in that, like the bottom line for the person that used you guys as a service is like, I feel like I have 8 more hours a week.
Correct.
Or 15, whatever it is, right? But it would be fun also to like get in there and see all the tasks that you used to do and don't have to do.
You would be surprised what someone in the Philippines, we'll just use the insurance, someone in the Philippines that quoting insurance is not something that is easy or something that people aspire to do, but it's necessary. And when our VA quotes, if they quote all day, every day of their life, the efficiency and the speed by which they do it, they run circles around the counterpart that was doing it, maybe here on the state side.
Yeah.
And the element that you've heard me bring up multiple times, they do it with a smile and they're extremely grateful. Yeah. And that is contagious inside the agency as well. We got this guy inside our agency doing all the stuff we don't want to, and they're the happiest of all of us.
Yeah.
And that spreads. In the same way negativity, in the same way entitlement spreads, so does gratitude. And that happens with these VAs. But their speed is unquestionably quicker. Their efficiency is better because that's all they're doing all day is that single linear, what we view as monotonous, what they view as fulfilling task.
Yeah. I love it because like you can apply that to anything in life. Like, why did you do that so fast? Whether it's, kids cleaning their room or, there's certain things my kids like to do that is still a job. And then there's certain ones they don't. It's like pulling teeth on the former and then the latter. It's like, why did you do that? So it's fun.
Yeah, they like it.
Yeah. You happy? Yep. Like pretty basic human psychology.
Yep.
101. That's awesome. All right. So you guys, right place, right time.
Correct.
You still have to, like, as entrepreneurs, innovate. You've got all the stuff that I would have zero clue about, the software, the compliance, all of that. But like the product building, like, oh, it looks like there might be a new vertical here that we could explore. What are some of your services? What are some of your offerings?
Okay, so we have broken up agency VA in a very polarizing fashion. We have what is called DIY, and DIY is run-of-the-mill do-it-yourself. Think of going to Home Depot, getting the supplies, and going and working on your bathroom. You did it yourself. So your VA is going to come in and support you. So inside of an insurance agency, on the DIY model, we actually let the insurance agent as well control the hourly rate. So our competitors, one thing that I always struggled with in this DIY model, because DIY is the VA game. And I'll talk about our next one after this, but DIY is what everyone else is doing. And what I would see is they would charge the client maybe $12 an hour. So that's what the client would pay, and they're paying the VA maybe $2 an hour. So there's this $10 arbitrage. And when I would meet the VA companies, I'd say, well, how do you justify that? Like, what are you providing, inside of the insurance agency or whatever business being worked for that justify, that large of a spread? And they'd say things like training, and I would go, okay, well, in the case of insurance, someone from the Philippines, looking at American insurance, you could train them for a year all day, every day. And it's a hard thing to pick up. So I kind of got to punt that one away. That has no validity. Outside of that, it was smoke. So what we said is, listen, you control your VA's rate. You control the hourly. You can push the gas down and pay them more when they're doing better. The arbitrage of the hourly amount that you're going to pay us, you're going to use our software, Ava.
Mm-hmm.
And what does Ava do for you is it makes sure that your VA is compliant. It all the social securities, driver's licenses that exist that the VA may be collecting, that is secured and that's collected properly. But also on the other end, we're one of few VA companies that all of ours have the W-2 type relationship. So I could pay the VA as like what we say here in the States is a 1099 contractor. I could double, triple, quadruple even their wage. They still can't get houses. They still can't get cars because they can't get loans with their banks.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a huge lift in creating a W-2 relationship across the globe. But that's another thing that Ava does. So on the other end of that relationship, in this DIY model, that your VA is only working your account.
Okay.
They're not strapping it on, to 3 other side hustles, and working that. So DIY is very much do it yourself. You're using our software. We find a butt in the seat. You can give us parameters of what you're looking for, skill sets. Most often you'll tell us the task. We'll tell you the part of the world that it fits. Okay. We'll leverage Ava to pick that out. The other side of the spectrum is our autopilot program. And in autopilot, you come in and you say, take care of answering my phone. We do everything. So we're going to leverage our global workforce. We're going to leverage our technology, but we take care of it. It is very much the opposite of do it yourself. We do everything. This is the white glove type service. Or you'll say, you know what? I'm sick of being at my son's soccer game on a Saturday, and I've got 3 people pinging me to get them evidence of insurance so they could get off the car lot. Yeah. I want to focus on my child. I want to focus on my family life. Just do my quoting. In this autopilot regime, we're going to do the quoting. The thing that's awesome as well on autopilot is when the work comes in, it is going to go to a specialist that only quotes all day, only answers phones all day. And we have broken up each part of the insurance experience in this autopilot, and we have it very refined. And this is the future of VA work. Is that very refined work where you can a la carte it out. Mm-hmm. And you can pull pieces of what you don't want to do. You hit on something that's critical. You said your kids like to do what they like to do. Well, as adults, we don't change that. Yeah. So finding inside your office what no one likes to do, have a VA do it. Because your team likes to do what they like to do. Yeah. So take those things off. So autopilot is killer and is awesome for that. And autopilot's only been running for about 6 months. And it is growing at a much more rapid rate than what our DIY did. But our DIY is still there. We still have that for people.
Very cool. And whatever the world throws at you with like curveballs, it sounds like through your guys' entrepreneurial brains and then Ava, you're going to be able to adjust and be flexible with what you guys have built into new verticals or something that doesn't even exist now that will in 3 years. I like it very much. All right, so as you're building this, we recently did a quick little story about some fundraising, Maddox Capital. Talk a little bit about that process, why you chose Maddox, and ultimately, like, what you're going to use the funds for. Like, I get that question a lot, like, from folks that don't care, right? Might be a school teacher or, they don't have any entrepreneurial bones in their bodies. And it's really fun to hear their questions because oftentimes you're like, that's a good question. I bet they might not know. What do you do with the money once you've got it, right?
Sure.
So,
sure.
Yeah.
Aside from the helicopter that I landed, no, just kidding. Not even close. Not even close. It was the funding and the developing of funds. We do everything opposite. The development of Ava, and what I failed to share earlier is I grew up in a tech company, and I watched the cycle of cash grab as much as you can, build a software, and pray to the good Lord it works. Mm-hmm. So we did the opposite. Bootstrapped, built the software, and it is broken, tried, and true with our people. We did the same with funding as far as the opposite. We were profitable once we started looking for funding. Here's the reason why. When you hire 50 people in any given month, that is a extremely heavy lift. And it's more aggressive when you're bootstrapping. And so growth is exciting and growth is fun, but finding computers, finding an office space, getting set up 50 people. I mean, I watch insurance agencies and companies gripe when they bring on 3 people, in a month's time. we were doing 50, 75, I think is the most we ever did clips in a month's time. So our cash flow was always an issue. Our growth was always the greatest inhibitor.
Mm-hmm.
So once concept was proven, software was broken in like a good saddle. She was working great and a good pair of jeans. We knew it worked, and we were profitable. We decided, let's find an outfit that aligns with us, and we can really infuse this with cash. We'd found something. I always tease. I say that right now is the remote worker gold rush, and I'll be happy as a clam if I'm selling the shiniest shovel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be mining for gold right now. And we do, and we are. And I strongly believe that. So we spent a year of our life looking for various private equity companies. We talked to VCs. We talked with anyone that would listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a taxing thing. I look at my wife after, this finalized, and I don't think I've ever been more tired in my business career. The other people that we met with were phenomenal, but it just wasn't the right fit. They didn't have the same vision as us. They didn't want to, completely take over the world. They weren't stupid enough to do that like we were.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's not a good segue into Maddox being stupid enough, but Maddox, I think, more so aligned with us on a lot of like the things they've accomplished and the things that they've done is unorthodox. What we're doing is unorthodox. The people at Maddox align with who we are as people. And we would we would get courted by someone for 3 or 4 months. I feel like Maddox had an uncanny ability to turn months into days. We could get the same achievement in days with them, We were very effective in working with them, and they aligned with our goals, and they weren't afraid when we told them our aspirations. In fact, they kind of had the hold my beer mentality. That's cute what you just said, but what about this? And that's a really intoxicating environment to be around. What Jesse Silva's accomplished there is, nothing short of incredible, awesome. Like, it's really great. So that's what really attracted us to there. Now, we received the $12 million in funds. We're going to do a lot with Ava. But aside from, your run-of-the-mill, stereotypical, we're going to invest into our software answer.
Yeah.
We're also going to have a bench of probably 140 people that are trained, locked, and loaded so we can grow more aggressively. And so when we onboard someone, they maybe were sitting there training for a month's time. We didn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very real stories like of both mine and Ben's homes where we were running out of office spaces, handing people laptops. This little 1 foot by 1 foot square, that's a U spot. You're here, but what do I do? Good question. What you do? Go to work. Like, let's go. We don't know. You got to get to work. Now maybe we can give them 2 feet of square now. We can be more efficient. Yeah. But we were built and put together, honestly, with Band-Aids and chewed up gum, gritty as can be. Now we can get them, our people, what they deserve. Good equipment, better equipment. We have more time.
Yeah. And that will translate into better results, right?
I hope.
Yeah. It's nobody likes sitting on the concrete floor at the airport trying to work when they could, have a desk and possibly even a Mountain Dew.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
It sounds like you guys are there.
Yeah, we're there. Yeah, people can get, I think we have both the sugar-free and regular Mountain Dew, so we're living large.
Things are looking up.
Yeah.
I love it. You've obviously kind of hit on a lot of awesome things here with like impacting folks' lives, outside of the United States of America, and the flexibility, the technologies there, for you guys and the world at large. But we were talking a little bit about, you spend a lot of time in Puerto Rico with your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the old parlance, it'd be like, oh, he's just sitting on the beach and somebody else is doing his job while he's down there. Not the case at all, right? Like with what we were talking about a little bit before, I think it's a perfect, dovetail into agency VA in general. You're kind of eating your own steak, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
How does that enable you to be a successful leader of this company? How does it help you, with your ideas, your mental health, all of that?
The first thing I noticed, which is the craziest thing about, when you live in one part of the world and you move to another part, you you get this front row seat to yourself and who you are while you're there. The first thing that happens in Puerto Rico is my heart rate goes down. I'm more relaxed. There is, I don't know if this is science, I don't know if it's the placebo effect, but feet in the sand, listening to an ocean daily is good for my soul. Sunshine is good for me. You know, it does me well. I am incredibly more creative while I'm on the island. That's one thing I notice. And when my creativity spikes, I'm actually more efficient. I'm creative in the solutions I'm providing to the host of problems that are in front of me every single day that I have to fix. So I'm more efficient in Puerto Rico and how I do things. Also, one of our core values at Agency VA is empathy. And on the island, we, as it stands, we came in like a bull in the china shop and positioned ourselves to be the highest starting wage on the west side of the island. And so we immediately had a lot of really cool talent coming in. But empathetically, I get to sit with them and be with them, hear their struggles and problems inside of their insurance agencies. And that translates again to more solutions, to a better approach. I'm there and I'm doing it. Now, there and doing it, 7 days a week, we do go to the ocean. 7 days a week, I am with my children. I have 4 of them. They're a lot. I was sharing with you the truth of it. It takes me about 2 weeks, like just straight up 2 weeks, to where I love with all my heart being around them that much.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you the void that when I returned to Utah, we legit came on a Tuesday. On that Wednesday, sports started, gymnastics started, dance started, and the hole and the void that I felt of not being with them was dramatic. And they're my motivation too.
Yeah.
So it actually pairs in with the effective nature of work. I'm with them a lot. That doesn't mean that there are times that we're on an hour and a half drive on the island and I've got a set of noise canceling headphones talking to an executive on Zoom, but I've blurred my background just like he did. He doesn't know I'm in a car with, kids fighting and doing what they're doing. And, with these technological tools, the headphones that I bought, they actually put a leaf blower in front of the guy and he took a meeting, and mine are the same. And so they never say what's going on, is it's loud over there. They don't do that, but I'm able to achieve a lot more. And in those hard moments that come in every Zoom meeting or in my day-to-day life, instead of putting my head down and being alone, I look back and see my son, and I get a renewed desire to go kill it.
Yeah.
I would live on the island full time if my family did as well, but they love stuff here in Utah, and so I'll come here too. I don't hate Utah. I freaking love Utah. Always have. I just like Puerto Rico better.
I love it. Good for you. It sounds like you figured out a few things. Just like everybody else, you got a lot more to figure out. But kudos to you and your family for landing on that. And heart rate, stress, all of that. That's great. It might mean that you can be in Puerto Rico when you're 98.
I'm hoping, dude.
In the grave.
I'm hoping.
I love it. Well, this has been really fun. Learned a lot. Thank you so much, Wessly. Congrats on the fundraise, and appreciate what you guys do here with the chapter that you guys run. And kudos to you and your team. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a good one.